Hi, welcome to this module, Psychological Terminologies and Concepts in Essentialism. Psychological Terminologies and Concepts in Essentialism. The reason why we are looking at this particular topic is for us to get ourselves acquainted with the basic concepts and terminologies used in the book Essentialism, so that we understand the context in which some of these terms are used and how they apply to our daily lives, and also to help us to recognize some of these terms when we see them playing out within our environment. And the first word we are going to be looking at that was mentioned in the book Essentialism is decision fatigue. Decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is explained or refers to the deterioration in the quality of decisions made by an individual after a long decision-making session. Psychologically, it occurs because cognitive resources are depleted, leading to impulsive or poor choices. In the book Essentialism, the author described this as a major barrier to essentialist thinking, noting the overwhelming number of choices in our modern life. When you look at our world today, it is easy to get distracted. We have our social media, we have our friends, we have so many things vying for our attention. And all these things vying for our attention, they require decision. They require constant decision and at every time. Now, to practice the essentialist way of living, right, it's to eliminate the non-essential. But when we are bombarded with so many decisions, or we are put in a situation where we need to make so many decisions at the same time, it gets to a point where we just get tired and we'll be like, whatever. Like, that's where procrastination also comes into play. But the author gave some tools and technique that we can use to overcome decision fatigue. And one of the tools is the 90% rule. That is, if you cannot say yes to a particular task, 90%, if you cannot say yes to a particular task up to a 90%, then it should be absolute no. There's nothing like 50-50. There's nothing like, oh, okay, let me just consider or that. No. If it's not a 90% yes, then it is a no. That is one way the author suggested that we can overcome decision fatigue. And the next word that we're going to be looking at is endowment effect. Endowment effect. It is explained that endowment effect is a cognitive bias where people assign more value to things they own simply because they own them, making it harder to let go of possessions or commitment. Now, just imagine a particular individual. Let's say, for instance, the person is a course rep, right, in a university. The person is a course rep, and the person have so many workload. Today, they need to be in the choir. They need to attend to club activities. They have different some activity at home that is calling their attention. They have their relationship and all these things. And when you want to practice essentialism, we said essentialism is a disciplined pursuit of less, that is pruning the less important tasks for more important tasks. Now, because that individual has been committed to all these things, let's say, for instance, the course rep, the different activity. Now, instead of saying, okay, this course rep thing is taking a lot of my time and I don't have time for my studies and other things, they'll be like, oh, I just have to hold on to it because I'm already the course rep. There's no need to let go. I'm already the youth leader. I cannot let it go because I'm already the youth leader. Like, nobody else can do it better than me. I need to commit to this task because I'm already involved with it. There's no need to let go of it. This particular terminology can be attributed or can be connected to the sunk cost bias, whereby people, because they've invested some time into an activity, they cannot let go. They just feel like, oh, okay, since I've invested this time, it's best I just continue. So that's what endowment effect is all about. Now, the next one is sunk cost bias. Sunk cost bias, I talked about this earlier on. Sunk cost bias is the tendency to continue investing in something something, either your time, money, or effort, because of past investment, when even when it no longer serves a purpose. Sunk cost bias is a tendency to continue investing in something, time, money, effort, because of past investments, even when it no longer serves a purpose. Now, just imagine a relationship whereby someone has invested 3 years into the relationship and the relationship is toxic. And because they've invested 3 years, some people will be like, oh, man, I've invested so much time into this relationship. I can't just let go. It's better I just continue. Even though those relationships don't serve their purpose, doesn't make them feel good. But because they've invested time into it, like, okay, 3 years, as this case may be, 3 years, they'll be like, oh, I cannot let go. The same thing with task. Let's say you are doing an assignment and you've gone far and you later discover that you made so many mistakes in the assignment. For some people, they'll be like, I cannot just go back to start again. Let me just complete and submit it like that. Whatever will be, will be. And that's because of sunk cost. You're looking at the time and energy you've invested in that particular project. So rather than going back to correct it, you just feel like, man, there's no more time for that. Let me just continue. The same principle applies to life. You find people, they are engaged in a particular task, and later on they discover that, man, that thing has so many errors or is not going according to plan. They just feel like, I cannot go back. I just have to continue. Like, there's no need to start afresh. If you notice you are in this kind of situation whereby you feel because you've invested so much time, energy into a particular task that you cannot start again, even though it's no longer serving the purpose, it's no longer serving a purpose, right? Then you should know that you are exhibiting sunk cost bias. Paradox of success. Paradox of success. The paradox of success is a psychological phenomenon where achieving success leads to more opportunities and demands, which can distract from the focus that drove the initial success, resulting in diminished effectiveness. The paradox of success is a psychological phenomenon where achieving success leads to more opportunities and demands, which can distract from the focus that drove the initial success, resulting in diminished effectiveness. You find this in situation where someone does well at a particular task. So let's say, for instance, you're in your first semester, you're just an ordinary guy, and because you're just an ordinary guy, but you studied very hard, like very hard, and you made good grades. And let's imagine in your school, because you've made good grades, making good grades automatically makes you a leader. You're automatically given the job of a course rep. And you took up the job of a course rep because you were successful in your exam. You did absolutely well. Along the line, you start getting so many requests. Oh, and course rep, can you help me with this? Oh, course rep, can you help me with that? Oh, course rep, can you do this? Can you do that? And because you want to be seen as someone who is nice, you say yes to all this demand. You say yes to all this demand. Now, those demands you say yes to, at some point, it will keep you so busy that you will get distracted from your initial task. You get distracted from the initial thing that made you successful, which is you studying your books. That is what paradox of success is all about. Achieving success can often lead to more opportunities and demands. Those opportunities and demands are what would tie an individual or distract an individual from their core tasks or core activities that made them successful initially. So the author argued that when you find yourself in such a situation, let's say you've achieved success and it's bringing in more opportunities and demand in such a way that it's distracting you from your core or the main thing that made you successful, it's important for you to discern these non-essential activities and cut them out. It's important for you to recognize the situation and combat them so that you can maintain clarity of purpose. That is, the author argued that you need to learn how to say no to things that don't add to your success. The next word we are going to be looking at is cognitive overload. Cognitive overload. Cognitive overload occurs when the brain is overwhelmed by too much information or too many tasks, reducing efficiency and clarity of thought. Cognitive overload occurs when the brain is overwhelmed by too much information or too many tasks, reducing efficiency and clarity of thought. So the author argued that when you bombard people with so many options, so many informations, they become confused. Now just imagine you're studying, let's say, Math 101, and you've been studying Math 101 for like 5 hours straight. Then there's TikTok, there's you are told to go and watch another video for how to solve calculus. Like you're just being bombarded with so much information. At some point you're going to get overwhelmed. Like you'll be like, this thing is too much. You need a break. You need your brain to take a break. So that is what cognitive overload is all about. Now the next word we are going to be looking at is choice overload. Choice overload. Choice overload is a psychological state where having too many options leads to anxiety, indecision, or dissatisfaction with the chosen option. Choice overload is a psychological state where having too many options leads to anxiety, indecision, or dissatisfaction with the chosen option. So just imagine you go to a shop and you find many shoes and you just want to buy one. Okay, you just want to buy one and you're told you can choose whatever shoes you want. Now when you get there, you're like, no, this is the one I want. Oh, this is the one I want. Oh, this is the one. Like you get confused. And at the end, maybe you ended up choosing one of the shoes and you get home, your mind starts telling you that you would have chosen the other one, the other one would have been better, that kind of thing. That is where the dissatisfaction comes in. Or in a situation whereby you are told, you are given different options, like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do that. Like when the options are too much, okay, basically when you have too much options, it usually leads to this choice overload. Like you don't even know which one to go with. So one of the dangers of not practicing the act of the one of the dangers of not practicing the act of essentialism is choice overload. When people have so many choice, just like the way we have in our current world, we have so many choice to make, so many things to choose from, and they are all vying for our attention. Now, when we understand this concept of choice overload, we can get to it can help us to understand what essentialism is all about, help us to discern the core task from the trivial many things that are calling up our attention. The next word we are going to be looking at is trade-offs. Trade-offs. Trade-offs involves the psychological process of weighing the cost and benefits of different options, often requiring the sacrifice of one desirable outcome for another. Trade-offs involves the psychological process of weighing the cost and benefits of different options, often requiring the sacrifice of one desirable outcome for another. Like in the book, we are told that for every yes you say, you are saying no to something. For every yes you say, you are saying no to something. That's what trade-offs is all about. You need to understand that at every moment, right now that you're listening to me, you are making a choice. You've made a choice to listen to this lecture rather than doing something else. So every moment we are making choice. So that's what this what trade-offs is all about. The next word we are going to look at is mindfulness. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is a psychological practice of being fully present and aware in the moment, often used to reduce stress and enhance focus. Mindfulness is a psychological practice of being fully present and aware in the moment, often used to reduce stress and enhance focus. We are told that in this modern world, the options we have, they are enormous, that there are various things that are vying for our attention. Like getting distracted can be very easy in this present time. Now, one thing mindfulness does for you is that it brings your awareness, it brings your mind back to the present moment, like back to the state where you are right now. Just like you are listening to me, you become aware of, let's say, your phone or your laptop that you're listening to me. You listen to me, you hear my voice, maybe you see things around you, like you are present in that moment. Now, it's quite unfortunate that a lot of people aren't they don't practice mindfulness. As some people, like, just say for instance, as you're listening to me, you are probably thinking about another assignment you need to do. You're probably thinking about the food you want to eat. You're probably thinking about something else. Okay, so that is what usually leads to distractions. So the author argues that for you to be an essentialist, you need to understand the act of mindfulness, the act of taking out little time to sit down, to evaluate yourself, evaluate situations, and see things the way they are. The next word we are going to be looking at is self-efficacy. Self-efficacy. Self-efficacy is the belief in one's ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplish a task, influencing motivation and perseverance. Self-efficacy is the belief in one's ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplish a task, influencing motivation and perseverance. That belief that you have, like, I can do this thing, I have to, like, I choose you. It's more like I choose to do this thing. So that's what the author argues, that those the self-efficacy is that you having that ability to choose, like, rather than saying I have to, you choose to. Okay, instead of being reactive, okay, you are proactive. That's what self-efficacy is all about. And the next one is social pressure. Social pressure refers to the influence of societal norms, expectations, or peer opinions on individual behavior, often leading to conformity. Social pressure refers to the influence of societal norms, expectations, or peer opinions on individual behavior, often leading to conformity. Just like I often say, you find some people, they'll be like, okay, let's say for instance, when you came to school, you're a very serious person, you like to read your book, and all of a sudden you got to have you started going out with friends who are not that serious, and they be like, how are you even studying? Come on, let's just go out and party. They keep on doing that. Eventually it will deviate you from your initial goal, that is to study hard. These are the dangers of social pressure. When people tell you, okay, let's do this, let's do that, or you just want to conform to the norm, like, okay, every other person is doing it, I don't want to be different, so you just follow the crowd. That's what social pressure is all about. And the next word we are going to be looking at is loss aversion. Loss aversion is the tendency to prefer avoiding losses over acquiring equivalent gains, often leading to risk averse or irrational decisions. Now, the explanation for this is, just imagine someone who, let's say, in a they are scared to talk in class, and there's particular question the person doesn't know. Maybe previously they've tried to ask question and they were insulted, or they saw someone that was maybe made fun of because they didn't know a particular thing. So instead of people seeing them as not smart, not as intelligent, people tend to avoid situation that will make people tend to avoid situation that will test them. Let's say for instance, maybe they'll start sitting at the back so that the lecturer doesn't ask them question, because it will only go to show that they are not intelligent or something like that. That kind of thing. They just start avoiding situation and things that would test them. So that's what this word is all about. Then the next one is confirmation bias. Confirmation bias is the tendency to seek, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms one's existing beliefs or priority. Confirmation bias is a tendency to seek, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms one's existing beliefs or priorities. So, thank you. If you have any questions or suggestions, kindly leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you.